Well, good morning, and welcome to the Daniel Sauls Show, where you will witness sports talk and debate from yours truly, Daniel Sauls. Well, I have nothing else left to say. Let's get started! NFL Sunday just ended just a few days ago on Sunday. We got a lot to unfold here today, folks. We're going to talk about the Cowboys today. Here's a question for today. Could this be the Cowboys season? And what that means is, could this be the season that the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I feel like it could be. The Cowboys offense, to me, is better than the 49ers and the Eagles. And those are the top three teams in the NFC. The Cowboys, Niners, and Eagles. I watched the Niners the other day and just didn't seem right. It didn't seem like that was the best team in the NFL. Nor did it seem like that was the best team in the NFC. The Eagles, a very big part of their game last season was their running back. And that was Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is not with the Eagles anymore. And that running back Swift that they got, he's good, but he's not as good as Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was just that guy. And so the Eagles' offense is not as good to me as the Cowboys if you go their A game versus A game. I feel like the Eagles can't put up as many points as the Cowboys can. Having said all that, the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy is the head coach, but they fired their offensive coordinator and their play caller. So now Mike McCarthy is their new play caller for the offense. And that helped a lot because this offense in the past 3 games in the NFL, which were the only 3 games of this season so far, they've scored 86 points in the past 3 games. 86 points. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. I'm going to say that. That's a lot of points. And the defense for the Cowboys is the other huge part of this Cowboys team. They probably have the best defense in the entire National Football League. They also have a receiving core like no other. We're going to go back to the offense. They have a receiving core like crazy. You got CeeDee Lamb, which is he can do a mix of everything, but he's not as fast as, like their other receiver, Turpin. Like that dude's like speed is like unparalleled. Like he's one of those speedsters that you have like doing like kick returns, right? And they got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is also a deep threat. He's, good at go routes, posts. He's good at those deep routes that people, like the safeties have to deal with and stuff like that. He's good at those. And then you got Michael Gallup, which is a mix of everything, just like CeeDee Lamb. He can do everything. Like having all 3 and 4, like all 4 of those guys, like Turpin as well. But if you're going to just count out Turpin, you got the 3, CeeDee, Cooks, and Gallup. That's a pretty good trio receiving core, if you ask me. That's probably the best in the league, if not top 3. Another thing about the offense is that Tony Pollard is there. Tony Pollard is like a mixture. Like he could be a power runner and he's got speed, so he can break towards the outside and he can, break a few tackles, and he's got some speed, so he can get through, break tackles and all that stuff. He can get a good few yards of that. But we're going to talk about what he's done since Elliott has gotten pushed out of the Cowboys. Because if you did not know, Ezekiel Elliott was the starting running back for the past few years for the Cowboys. This is probably like 5-6 years. And in the past year or two, Tony Pollard, since he's entered with the Cowboys, he's been like a number 2 running back, like that. Like he's been like a backup towards like Elliott. And he's been pretty good. He's been actually really good, so they trusted him, and now he's their #1 running back. And in the past 3 games, he's got an average of 21 carries a game. He's got 2 touchdowns and over 260 rushing yards, which is not that bad considering a guy that's just getting used to being the #1 running back for the team. That's really what I have to say about the offense. But then you're going to go look at the defense again. They lost one of their biggest stars on the defense, probably #2 or 3, and that's Trayvon Diggs. If you don't know who Trayvon Diggs is, Trayvon Diggs was one of the best players for the Cowboys on the defensive side, and if not, throughout the entire team. He did go to Alabama for college, played under Nick Saban. He was a wide receiver, and Nick Saban switched him to defense and cornerback. And ever since then, everything has been great for him. He has been one of the greatest defensive players and one of the best players in the league right now. And in the past few years, he's made a very good build-up. And he's got a good build-up for his name and for who he is, because he has the most, I think it was like a few years ago, he's got the most interceptions in a season since Deion Sanders or something like that. And he's good at pick sixes. He's good at catching the football because he was a receiver, so he's good at that. So that's really what I have to say about Trayvon Diggs. So that will be a big loss for the Cowboys, but they still do have Micah Parsons, and a lot of people, like ESPN analysts and all that stuff, they call him like the modern day Lawrence Taylor. And a lot of people, some people say that they don't want to go there, but I mean, Micah Parsons is that dude. He's definitely in the top few like best players in the league, like top 5, top 10. He's he's in that conversation. To me, he's like around in the top 3. So I'll give him that credit. So the Cowboys have a lot on their plate, and they also did add Stephon Gilmore, which is going to be a future Hall of Famer. He is one of the best cornerbacks in the league and one of the best cornerbacks of all time. But I'd just like to say this. The Cowboys have all those things and above on their plate and what they can do on the field, defensively and offensively. And I talked to Mike McCarthy and the coach. But their biggest problem is their quarterback, Dak Prescott. To me, Dak Prescott is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. He's nothing better than that. Dak Prescott is not good under pressure. He's not. He is mechanically great, but his decision-making is off. And when you're talking about a quarterback, especially elite quarterback, you think of a guy that's got to be the smartest player on the field. The reason why I say that is because a quarterback has to know everything that is going on the field. They have to know the receiver's route. They have to know the running back, what they're doing. They have to know what the O-line is doing, the tight end, even the defense. They have to be able to read everything. They have to know everything on the field. And that's the problem, is that, like, for a receiver, for example, they just have to know their route. They have to know their route. Some receivers have to know the other receivers' routes just to make sure that they don't, do the wrong route or all that stuff, but they are supposed to know their route. And same with the running back. They're supposed to know what they're doing. And that's the thing, is that the quarterback has to read the end if he's going to run the ball. And he's got to, if he's going to run the ball, then he's got to make sure that end isn't coming towards the running back. And if it's going towards him, then he can run it. And all that extra stuff. Like, the quarterback just has to know everybody's position, everybody and what they're doing on the field. And that's the thing, is that Dak Prescott does not have the best mind and best decision-making for a quarterback. And because of that, they will go as far as Dak Prescott brings them. And Dak Prescott will not be their saving grace this season. And I don't think he'll ever be any team's saving grace, if I'm going to be honest with you. But if he can overcome that, the Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl, I guarantee it, because they have one of the most talented teams in the NFL. They are a top 3 team in the NFL. Even though they lost to the Arizona Cardinals just this past Sunday, it doesn't matter because the Cardinals had a good game. You got to give them credit, but the Cowboys are still elite. The Cowboys are still elite. You can't take it away from them. The Cowboys are elite, and they will do what they have to do to win. And I believe if Dak Prescott can overcome all of this, they will go far. They will go far, I'm telling you. They will. So, Who do I have going to the Super Bowl? That's a different topic for a different video. But the Cowboys can get there if they decide they want to be there. What I mean by that is if they have the mentality, each player that plays, even if they're a backup, if the entire team has the mentality of a winner's mentality, if they want to get to the Super Bowl, they will do it. They will do it. I know it. And if Dak Prescott can overcome those flaws, they will go to the Super Bowl. And to be honest with you, I don't see that many teams that could seriously stop the Dallas Cowboys. If they could do all that, I don't see how many teams could stop them. Not a lot of them can. And that's going to do it for today's segment with the Cowboys. I'm Daniel Sauls, the host of the Daniel Sauls Show. And I'll be back with another video for y'all guys once again very soon. But before this video ends, make sure to go like, subscribe, turn post notifications on as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video, and tell me how far you think the Cowboys are going to go. Do you think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, or do you think they're just going to make it to the playoffs? Do you think Dak Prescott is going to get fired after the season? Let me know. I'll be back. Peace out with the new Daniel Sauls Show.